So you've finally done it. After binge watching a bunch of minimalism YouTube videos, maybe you even bought Cal Newport's book, you have finally decided to reduce your screen time. You might have deleted all of your social media apps, you might have installed a minimalist launcher, you might have even bought a dumb phone. And now you've been able to reduce your screen time and free up all of this time. And now you might be sitting here wondering, so now what? So a lot of digital minimalism content online is much of the same. Switch to a minimal launcher, delete all of your apps, switch your phone to black and white, buy a dumb phone. I'm even guilty of this with my digital minimalism videos. But I'm pretty sure that a few people, including myself, after a few weeks or months of trying these experiments, we do revert back to old habits. Ultimately, I think there's one thing that people who talk about digital minimalism on the internet don't really talk about as much. When you've been able to reduce all of this screen time, when you've been able to create friction, what's next? Because screen time reduction isn't a goal in and of itself. It seems really silly, but if you don't know what you're gonna replace your screen time with, you're just going to fidget at home and it's gonna feel like a sacrifice to you. And soon you'll just ask yourself, how did you end up here in the first place? Why did you just put yourself in this self-imposed prison? And then old habits start to creep back up. You might just reinstall TikTok or Instagram. You might start feeling out of the loop. What's with all this brat stuff? And suddenly you're back to where you started. Because if you really think about it, reducing screen time in and of itself doesn't really provide that much value to you. Instead, what you should ask yourself is, what am I going to do with all of this free time that I now have? How do I actually make this valuable to me? For some people, the default is to just go and read a book. But my ADHD-riddled brain, yes, I am diagnosed, cannot handle this at all. I don't know, reading's just not for me. But I started to realize, if reading's not for me, then there's so many other things that I can actually do that doesn't involve my phone. There's so many fun, productive activities out there. Just indoors, I've started rediscovering my love for food and beverage. There's this super easy new chickpea recipe that I picked up from Internet Shakil. I've started taking coffee seriously again. I used to work in the coffee industry, and now I just really enjoy the 10 minutes that I have each morning to make my own cup of coffee. And I've recently gotten into the world of craft cocktails. I've started building up a bit of a bottle collection. I've been reading this book called The Cocktail Codex, and I've really enjoyed making drinks for people. Now that's just my indoor activities. Outside, there's a whole nother world out there. Walk to a cafe and just get a coffee and just sit there. Sign up to a workshop and learn a new skill. Ride your neglected bike. Head to a cocktail bar solo and just sit there and don't use your phone and just chat with a bartender. Create content instead of consuming. Honestly, just head outside without a plan and just walk around. Like me and my partner just went out and walked like 15 kilometers without really planning for it just one afternoon. And it was great. Yes, I know that this is just someone on YouTube telling you to just go out and touch grass. But it's funny how much we just have to remind ourselves to do these seemingly obvious things these days. And resist the temptation to share this on social media as you're doing it. Because ultimately, this is something that you're doing for yourself and not for anyone else. This is for your personal enjoyment. So TLDR, just have so much fun without your phone that you don't really feel the need to have your phone with you at all times. Create new habits and find joy in things and activities that don't involve technology. And probably another thing that I might want to expand on in a future video, if you guys like, is the idea of just being okay with being bored. We live in such an overstimulated world nowadays. Like, I cannot do chores without having something on the TV. And no, maybe you don't need a phone on you when you're brushing your teeth. But that's sort of the world I found myself in, and that's why I had to take all of these drastic measures. Anyway, once you just stop fidgeting when you don't have your phone in your pocket, then I think that you've made some progress. Anyway, this was a bit of a shorter video. Let me know down in the comments what you've done with the time that you've now been able to save by reducing your screen time. If this video resonated with you, a thumbs up would be fantastic and a subscribe would be even better. I have a whole playlist on digital minimalism here and all of the various experiments that I've done. Check them out.